Okay, so now that I can put away my Patriot boner, I'm going to ruin your life with the fact that
Great.
synthetic human embryos made without eggs or sperm have been created in a quote-unquote scientific breakthrough. We just made people, bro.
Wow.
We officially have we've reached God mode.
How did they do that? Did you read the article?
I will read the article right now.
What the fuck?
Synthetic human embryos are made in scientific breakthrough. Human embryos made without eggs or sperm have been created in a scientific breakthrough, which is bound to raise serious ethical and legal questions. Where's the rest of the article? Sorry, I forgot to click the other extension. From the Daily Mail. Human embryos made without eggs or sperm have been created in a scientific breakthrough, bound to raise serious ethical and legal questions. They were produced in a joint project between Cambridge University and the California Institute of Technology and resemble embryos in the earliest stages of human development. They do not have the beginning of a brain or a beating heart, but do indicate cells which would go on to form the placenta and yolk sac. Scientists believe that their finding could provide significant insight and aid research into rare genetic disorders and the biological causes of miscarriages, because we're not even getting into the flaws of like the human birthing canals and the human reproduction process. We've created the life already,
but I question.
Now we can see where shit goes wrong.
I also question. There's got to be, in the world of billions of human beings, there have to be people who are just not compatible to create life together.
This is
right.
This is true.
And there's no measuring it. There's no whatever. It's just a thing that happens. You just happen to fall in love with somebody that genetically you're uncompatible. The life that you want to create is not something that can survive.
Did you know that not that long ago, you have to, before you got like approval to be married, you had to go have tests done at the doctor to make sure that there was no like blood incompatibilities or genetic.
I did not know that.
To a certain point where like if two people were not allowed, like to the scientific standard at the time, if both you two were incompatible genetically, you weren't allowed to get married.
Okay, so that's crazy. I did not know that.
Yeah.
But
that was not that long ago.
That underlines my point of
exactly.
There's only so much miscarriage research that can be done without human beings being involved. Because there's that factor that we probably can't measure or attribute now, but in some world, in some time, we will be able to figure out it's these things in your blood.
Exactly those things.
That when two people have these things or these things or these things, you just can't make a baby that's going to survive. You're just going to miscarry almost every time. There's a 5% chance. There's a whatever. Right?
100. Yep.
Eventually, we're going to be able to figure that out.
And we've gotten way closer today than we did back then.
There's only so much shit that we can learn. I don't know, dude. I don't.
You don't like that?
No, that seems like a bad idea.
We're making non-real humans.
Same deals. I get it. I understand. That seems like a bad idea. The same way that we're like, hey, don't clone things. This is the same thing as that. We only did it with like goats and shit, and they're still like, don't fucking do that. That's not cool. That's unethical. I can't tell you why, but it gives me a bad feeling in my belly. You shouldn't be doing that. This is the same thing as that. You shouldn't be fucking doing that.
Do you remember, did you listen to the podcast, the Joe Rogan one with the guy that lives up in Alaska? He's got this big ice melt. He's got tons of property and shit, and he finds like hundreds of mammoth bones and all these different.
You told me about it.
It's a wild ass shit, but they are currently right now.
Sounds like eugenics. How do you decide which ones are not going to survive? Eventually, you have to kill off a bunch of embryos. You're like, fuck it. We're just going to kill a bunch of things that could potentially be life that we created. You're aborting a life that you like. That's fucked up.
Okay, so
this is the same thing as that like religious people have with in vitro. You know, you're only going to take so many of the embryos that you create, and other ones you fucking dump out. Like what the fuck do you do? That's not cool.
Because there's a thing right now. Like there was a story the other day. I forget.
It's like, oh, it's cool. It's like a rat that we make because we made it in a lab. So it's not a fucking conflict of moral interest because we made it. So it's fine.
So check this out. Right. Currently, right now, there's a scientific process in which multiple Americans have done at this point a good deal where they will it's part of in vitro. It's like it's a branch off of in vitro. They will harvest an egg and a sperm, generally from a husband and wife, right? Who will want to have kids in the future, but not right now. And they allow those things to form and become embryos that will survive if put back into uterus. And then once they become embryos, they freeze them.
Right. That's an
so
IVF
there are
thing,
people out there that have
that's what I was talking
they
about.
have 8 to 10 essential potential babies
Right.
that
That's
are
what I
on
was talking
ice.
about.
And they will, if they don't claim them,
Right.
they
You
don't
take
go
one or two
anywhere.
and then they're gone.
They're gone.
Right.
And the rest of them just die. It's the same thing.
Right.
It's very, very strange.
There are people that we work with who are very religious who I have heard question that same thing. I'm like, that's immoral. Like, you shouldn't be doing that, you know? And it's consistent with what their general ideology is. Like, that it's not inconsistent, so I understand.
But also, I have mixed feelings.
I get it. I totally get it. This seems super bad. Like,
it's usually like a jumping off point from the surrogacy debate.
Because I can already see the arguments being formed of like, well, now we don't need to subject people to human trials of drugs because, you know, we can just make fucking clones and it's fine. You know, this is like Star Wars, 2023, where we're like, well, we can just make a whole army of people that we can use to do whatever we want.
Army,
and
bro.
it's not a problem. You
The
know,
Caminos are at
work
work here.
And we have CRISPR, so we can make sure that they're dormant and that they're going to listen all the time, and that they can only get so smart and they only have certain skills. We can enhance certain skills. We can do all this. We can make sure they're not going to get these tropical diseases. Like, so we can send them to various parts of the globe because
babies to order, bro. I want this, that, and the other thing.
These super soldiers.
I'm going to build me an NBA star as a child.
Yeah. These super soldiers are already immune to this set of tropical diseases, so they can go to the Philippines and fight in whatever dirty, nasty war you want, and they're not ever going to get sick. It's going to be totally fine.
Why you guys got to go super soldiers, man? Deborah's on your side.
Because it's the fucking government doing it, man.
Exactly.
This is definitely. I get it that it's two institutes, but they're definitely funded by the government. This
100%.
is totally a government.
This has got what's that like black money research thing? DARPA. This is DARPA. 100%.
You
DARPA.
shouldn't be doing this.
But also, that dude on Rogan from Alaska or whatever, he's discovering all these extinct species and that they didn't even know existed up there. That's a whole cool thing. Well, at the same time, for the first time in history, we are cloning a mammoth.
Right.
And so there's going to be a mammoth around. So let's take this concept of this synthetic human embryo being created, right? And we'll carry that over into the modern day implications of that, where we can essentially resurrect specific extinct species because we have their genome, so we can bring back the dodo bird.
So I get it, right?
Do we want to fuck with that?
The Jordan influenced part of me has serious hesitation about fucking with the natural order of the planet, right?
I get it.
If there are animals that have become extinct and we didn't kill them, there's a reason. The buffalo, we did that. We totally did that. We fucked up.
It's fine. We got bison now. It's not a big deal.
I get it. Like that type of thing. We fucked that up.
Yeah.
I get fixing a mistake that we actually verifiably made.
Yeah.
When you're talking about a thing that died way before we got here, there's probably a reason you shouldn't be doing that. And we weren't alive a million years ago. Whenever the mammoths roamed the earth, I have no idea. We weren't alive then.
We fucked with them.
We don't know. Oh, so we whatever.
You like our ancestors.
We as humans now in 2023,
we ain't never
as
fucked with that shit.
scientific human beings, we were not alive then. We did not know. We do not know why they died. The events that precipitated that, the circumstances around that. There could be very good fucking reasons for that. If we overhunted them, which let's take a throwback, right? When I was taking college classes in high school, I took an anthropology class that was way beyond something I ever should have taken. It was it was like anthropology 247 or something. Way beyond what any type of high school student should be taking.
Okay, Professor Donavan.
We had to write a paper at the end of the year that was about just something anthropology. You just had to pick a topic, right? So I picked the overkill theory. And it was the overkill theory is that we hunted a bunch of these animals to death.
Yep.
A lot of mammoths. Right?
Market hunting, we call it.
We did that. We killed them as our ancestors because we just overhunted the fuck out of them. So I wrote a 17-page paper on this because I thought...
Where's that on the patch, bro?
Because it was supposed to be between 7 and 10 pages, and I thought it was supposed to be 7 and 10 pages single-spaced. and it was supposed to be double spaced.
Oh, that's
So
bullshit.
when I double spaced,
How can you write a paper?
So I wrote like a 9-page single-spaced paper, and when it was double-spaced, it was 17 pages. And the professor was pissed. She was furious.
I have to read 2 papers at a time
Yes.
for your 1 paper? Fuck you.
She's like, and it's all be like, it says right here on the fucking syllabus for the thing. And I'm like, dude, I get high all the time. I know. I
missed
Yeah.
double space. My bad.
I just wrote a 9-page paper. Let's give me a little bit of credit for
Right?
a 9-page single-spaced paper.
Mr. fucking underachiever
Yes.
Donavan in school, you should be proud of me, bitch.
That isn't full of filler words.
And
Like,
she's
this
pissed?
is, oh, she was pissed.
Fuck
Yeah.
her.
But
That's
I
like a
got-
slap on the wrist at best. Bro, I said this, you misreading
Yeah.
this, but I'm glad you took the effort. I'm very glad I will intake this. And I will fuck 10% off your grade because you missed the details. You didn't
Yeah.
follow the details. But also, if the substance is good, you get solid B+.
So 5 years later, I was very upset and in denial because the overkill
5 years
theory,
later.
because the overkill theory was completely turned over. Like a bunch of people decided, they're like, "Oh, that's actually not true." And I had just written this super long paper about how it was totally true, and I was like, "I believe in it, and everyone should believe in it, and this is legitimate." And then all the scientists are like, "No,
Nah,
that's wrong.
we changed our
We
mind,
didn't
sorry."
do that." Yeah, at the time, it
Yeah.
was totally right.
Oh
It's
my
coherent.
God.
And then 5 years later, they're like, "No."
Oh, my God.
So for
that's
like-
so funny.
For like 2 years, I was like, "That's not real. That's not real. I don't agree with that. I'm very well researched in
my
this
research,
subject.
bitch."
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about, and I can guarantee you, we definitely hunted them to death."
I wrote a high school fucking paper twice
Yeah.
as long as it should have been, bitch. I
Yeah.
did so
It was
much
a
research
college
on this.
paper. I was in high school. I was doing.
That's right,
I
your-
was doing
your
running
AP
start.
AP shit.
I was doing running start. So
Yeah,
I was
same
taking
shit.
the college courses.
You were taking the AP classes.
No. Classes at Olympic College, and they count for high school credit.
Which is okay, yes.
Yeah.
Which is what an AP high school
like,
class is supposed
supposed
to
to be.
be. It's supposed to like double up.
Word.
Welcome to the south of the streets, coming at you